PJNet Live, Part 1, with Stephanie Robertson standing by in the green room. Bumper is rolling. We have a beautiful southern background awaiting the arrival of Stephanie. We'll switch to Studio 6 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, good evening and welcome to another night, Tuesday night of PJNet Live, a double header on tap for you tonight in about half an hour. At the bottom of the hour, we're expecting Del Didway. Del Didway, this is almost not news, has a new book coming out, but he'll tell us all about that at 9:30. Enjoy the southern hospitality from the Eagle's Nest, the PJNet studio. We have taken you all the way to the great state of Alabama, a place very close to my heart, and the home of Stephanie Robertson, who is joining us from her home, her nest in Alabama. Welcome, Stephanie. Tell us where you got that beautiful picture of the flowers and the antebellum. It's beautiful.
Sure. Thank you so much. I took a picture of that at the Huntsville Botanical Garden in Huntsville, Alabama. It's a new building that they completed in 2017, and it's simply gorgeous. And we're so proud of that in Huntsville.
So that's new, but it looks old, right? I mean, it's antebellum in its architecture.
Right, right. It's got the Greek columns and everything, so it's just.
You got it. Well, Stephanie, we, myself and our wonderful producer, Barbara, Sunbelt Girl, we crossed paths. We had to go all the way to Ohio to cross paths with you. What in the world were you? Were you driving up there and your car broke down and you just walked to the nearest gathering? And what were you doing in Ohio?
No, it's a little bit more intentional than that. I was there for an Ohio Christian Writers Conference to pitch my novel.
Aha. Now, you say pitch. That means the novel. Have you written the manuscript?
Yes, I have.
It's done. All you got to do is pitch it and get it taken, right?
Right. Just get it published.
Get it published. Now, writing, of course, a lot of the guests that we have here are Christian writers or authors or both, but you blog very regularly. I didn't get to thumb down through many of them, but you seem to be pretty regularly. Tell us about your blog.
Yes, it's called Sweet Gum Life. The tagline is life with a little Alabama twist or a little Southern twist. So it's a lifestyles blog, and it also is mostly, well, it's distinctively Southern, I would have to say.
Well, you're kind of distinctly Southern yourself, aren't you?
I hope so. I've lived in Alabama all my life.
I can tell by the accent it's not New York. It's probably somewhere north or south of the Mason-Dixon. That's what people tell me, the same thing. They say, you talk funny. It's like, really?
Yeah.
I am unaware that I did, but nonetheless, want to say a quick hello to those of you visiting in the chat room. Doug Carter's with us, Hazard, Sunbelt Girl, and Data, that would be me. Of course, I'm in the chat room. Great to have our regulars here, and looks like we've got some people in the balcony as well that are not logged in. We're glad you're here. Stephanie, your blog is a lot of lifestyle, but your writing, you went to a Christian Writers Conference. Why a Christian Writers Conference?
Well, the novel is for the general market, but I feel like Christians will get my novel and get my writing a lot better because it doesn't have objectionable content. Because I write clean. It's very, very important for me to write clean, something that I'm not going to be embarrassed to show my mom.
Okay. Well, and you are a mom too, right?
I'm a what?
You're a mom.
Oh, yes, or my daughter. I've got a teenage daughter, and being a good example for her is very, very critical for me.
How many, is this your first Christian Writers Conference?
No, I think I've been to about five of them.
Oh gosh, you're an expert. You need to tell me more about them. Tell me, I've only been to two. How did this one stack up?
I loved it. I thought this was a great conference. I like it because it's smaller, it's more personal. You get more personal attention and you get to know the same people a little bit better. Even though it was just about 2 days, I've been to a really, really big conference and it's almost like you get lost and you don't really get to form those relationships that a lot of us are looking for.
You know, Stephanie, you're not the first one to say that because many. This was my second conference. Now, you didn't say it, but I know the reason that you went up there is that you thought there was a chance that PJNet Live would be there and you'd get to meet us. That's what.
That's exactly right, Coach. That's 100%. That's it. I just had a feeling.
Did you drive or did you fly? That's a long ways.
I drove, but it was great because
Yeah.
it's such an adventure.
Well, I drove a lot further than you did. I wound up with 2,052 miles on that journey. Now, I took a little detour through North Carolina to get there. That added a few miles, but I enjoy. Well, first of all, I'm very committed to what they're doing at Serious Writer.
Me too.
And back to my point, you said these conferences are smaller, but smaller is better. I've been asked, why don't you
In
go to the
my
big
case,
conference?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get the impression that while these big conferences are bigger, I get the impression you're being herded around like cattle, and you feel like you're in a blender or something. You know, you're just kind of going back and forth. So did you? So you meet new people every time. Tell us about some of the people you met that you had not met at previous conferences.
Wow. I met this amazing lady named Carla, an amazing woman named Emily.
Oh, Emily touched my heart. She's going to be on PJNet Live.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. I look forward to that. Oh, let's see. I'm going to leave out 99.9% of the people. There's this one lady, my car wouldn't crank. It was the first cold day that my car had experienced. It's time to go to conference, and my car wouldn't crank. And this sweet lady at the hotel, I cannot even remember her name, but she gave me a lift to the conference, and I'm
Wow.
so thankful. So thankful for that. So I could
Well,
still go to the conference and not miss a thing.
well, Southern hospitality exists around the world. Okay.
Everywhere.
It does. You love the South, don't you?
I do. I sometimes I feel like I would like to move somewhere else. Like my husband, I've told him, if you ever want to work in Kwajalein, you just give me the word and I'll be packing because I love to just go everywhere. But yes, I do love the South.
Well, I
The
don't
people are
blame you.
very polite and
And the pace is more. I don't want to say it's slow. It's just more intentional and relaxed, and we don't get wound up. You know, we get mad down. You know, but we don't have as
we
much
do.
road rage down here. You know, as they have in other places. But until you get to
Ooh.
Atlanta, you know, or
Oh yeah.
but I live in a very very small town. I was just corresponding with Cody Moorhead, who was leading the praise in the worship.
Oh yeah.
And of course he wants the footage that we taped. And I told him I've got a bunch of it, and I said it will be weeks before I get all this edited. I said, now if you want me to, I'll just upload everything and you can edit it yourself if you'd like it sooner. And he said absolutely. Well, I started uploading, and
A
I
lot of
live
work.
well. Yeah, well, no. You set the
No?
camera up and it just records. It is a lot of work setting it up. Anyway, so I'm uploading, and out here where I'm at, you can't really get a really high-speed internet connection. Okay, I have 5 megs, okay, and that's it.
Ooh.
So it estimated that it was going to take about 20 to 23 hours to upload. So I aborted the batch and just uploaded one or two and emailed him back. And I said, you got to understand, we watch Monday Night Football here on Tuesday. It takes that long for it to get here. And but anyway, Cody is going to actually edit the keynote speeches and the praise and worship, so it'll get out faster that way. And of course, he wants to use it for his own purpose. But that it's quite a worship experience. That it's not just an academic environment.
Right, right. There's a lot of gratitude there.
And a lot of
the spirit of. Mm-hmm.
It's more than cooperation. It's as if everybody else is on your team.
Yes, exactly. And from what I understand, you don't always get that.
It's hard for me to imagine people so willing to help out potential competitors on the field. But that's exactly the sense that I get there.
Right, right. Oh, I can't even.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm blown away. For example, there was this one lady, I think she's in Serious Writer as well. She volunteered to look at my proposal, and it's like, well, what can I do for you? Because you've done this for me. Her name is Patricia, and just an amazing lady. I really appreciate her help. So you're right, yeah.
Now, I was filming some of this stuff, but, there's these classes that you can go to. But while the classes are going on, they're having these one-on-ones. So tell us about the class or classes that you went to.
Oh, wow. Dill Ditways was my favorite, I have to say. Now, it was really small, but it just on interviewing, it was amazing.
Well, he'll be here in a few minutes.
I know. That's so exciting.
He's here every Tuesday night, and he's a great guy. But he's also a very accomplished communicator. He's a writer. Yes. He's been in broadcasting, and he's just got that mature point of view. But I attended his class on, it was called From Conference to Contract. The velocity, his career has skyrocketed. I mean, just catapulted straight up. And he says, that's not an every time thing, but it is doable. Here's how I did it. Now, I didn't sit through the entire class, but one of the things that we talk about is he is able to get interviews with some very, very high profile people. Is that what he talked about? Tim Tebow. So what do he talk about? I love
that kid.
What'd you learn in that class? Do's and don'ts.
According to him, you can get just a regular person, which I'm just a regular gal. A regular person can get an interview with just about anyone if you work at it and you try and if you follow his steps.
Well, he had a do's and don'ts list. Do you remember? This is a pop quiz. Remember any do's?
Okay. Do contact your agent. Do your research. I remember that. Do research on the person that you want to interview. Keep track of who is coming into your town. For example, I would love to interview John Bon Jovi, and if he came into town, I would be all about, hey, I really like your music, dude. Just yeah.
You're a little younger than I am. Yeah. Elton John's a little too old for you, isn't he?
No, I like Yellow Brick Road. I totally like Yellow Brick Road. Okay. But
what about the don'ts?
One thing, I just did a don't, because I would be saying, dude, I like your music. You're supposed to not approach them like a fan. Star-eyed. Yes, that's his exact words.
Mm-hmm. It's professional.
Don't approach them as a fan. You are professional. Treat them as such. They are just humans, just like us. Even though deep down you're like, oh, well, Tim Tebow, oh my goodness. You are just such a great football. I just really like Tim Tebow. So he seems like a really good young man.
He is. And I know a little bit more about him than the general public, because I was on the board of a crisis pregnancy ministry. And we had invited somebody else who I won't mention, but they were running for president. Okay. Well, they actually, and they were booked for our annual banquet. Well, they go to the Iowa caucus. It was Mike Huckabee, so it was. And he won the Iowa caucus, and his campaign contacted us and said, "We're not coming to your thing. We're canceling. Here's your deposit back. Sorry." And all of a sudden, we have nobody to be our keynote speaker at our annual banquet, which is about 50% of the money we raise during the year. And well, I don't know who said it, but they said, "Well, what about Tim Tebow's mother?" Well, that's who we got, and that was her first public speaking engagement professionally.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd love to meet her.
Well, she's good. She does plenty of public speaking now. She hasn't sent us any commission checks from all the honorariums, but anyway. You chose that class, any particular reason, or just curious?
No, it wasn't curiosity. It was definitely, I know why. I have done a lot of interviewing of people, just businesses, just doing articles, and I wanted to learn what I could improve on, because I don't care who you are, you can always improve. And if anything, I'm about growth. And I think other people should have that mindset as well. I'm sorry about my earphones. It kind of keeps popping out of my ear. I know that's distracting. But always have a growth mindset. If you've done 1,000 interviews, you can always learn more. Everyone has a different perspective.
Well, you learn from one of the best.
So much more than what I could have imagined.
Yeah. Now, those of you who can't see, but Del Didway just joined us in the green room. Anyway, Stephanie, as I was saying, Del Didway is one of the best, and you've learned from one of the best.
True.
Now, they also had one-on-ones. So tell me, did you engage in the one-on-ones?
I did. That was really the primary reason for me going. This was held at the beginning of November, this writers' conference. I had finally finished up my novel, and I wanted to get in a pitch for the novel before the holiday season. So that was one of my primary reasons to go, so I could sit down with a literary agent and talk about my novel, which I did. I talked to 2 agents, maybe. I think I talked to 3 or 4 in all. So a person will go in, 10 minutes to sit down, describe a novel or whatever he or she is working on, and get a perspective from the agent or whoever is, sometimes they're acquisition professionals. So, that's what you do. You sit down and you pitch your novel and hope you get maybe even a contract.
Did you feel like they were sincerely listening with interest, or did you get the sense they were just going through the motions, or did you feel really engaged?
No. This conference, I feel like they really looked at me like I was the only person in the room. I've been to a conference before, which I know the importance of looking people in the eye. This person looked away a few times, and I thought, well, what am I here for? Do you really want to hear about this? Not at the Ohio Christian Writers Conference. They really sounded like they wanted to hear what we had to say, and I know they had to have 10, 15 people that they talked with one-on-one.
In closing, we're out of time, actually. You have an article that is written that'll be published by the University of what? Tell me about. Remember? You've published
Yes.
something that's going to be published, or help me out here.
Well, it is scheduled to be an Alabama Heritage magazine, which
Okay.
is put out by the University of Alabama, Roll Tide. That's where I went to school. And so I am going to be really excited that that's going to get published. There's always a chance that something happens and it doesn't get in there, but I'm still hoping, and I will be so excited because that's my alma mater and my parents. So.
Uh, well, I don't live in Alabama, but I love Alabama football, and I
Sure.
know not to take sides on that one.
That's all right. That's okay.
There have been divorces, civil war. There has been,
Family splits.
families split. Barroom
My brother
brawls.
went to
Yeah.
Auburn.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Oh
don't
my.
talk about Alabama Auburn on Thanksgiving. And my niece is at Auburn. So I say war tide.
Yeah. Roll Eagles. Roll Eagles. war, war damn tide.
I
Or
got
something.
overly enthusiastic there.
Well,
War
you can't.
tide or roll eagle.
There you go. Stephanie, thank you for your thanks for dropping in on us, because you've got a future ahead of you, and you know what? Can't wait to hear more about it as that unfolds, because that's what we do here. And you've got a story to tell. Folks, if you have it, I'm going to put it back on the screen. Sweet Gum Life. If you want a taste of Southern hospitality, check out sweetgumlife.com. And Stephanie, we wish you the very best. Hey, thanks for sharing with us tonight.
Thanks so much, Coach Mark. I really appreciate you.
All right, thank you. All right, folks, there you have it. What a wonderful Southern lady. Just we got good stuff down here in the South. I'm sure there are good people up north. I really am, because I've been up there. But everywhere I go, I meet interesting people, and you have just heard from one of them. What an honor it is. Now, you know what? PJ Net Live is only half done. We're going to take a little halftime break. We'll be back at the bottom of the hour with Del Didway as PJ Net Live continues. All right. Gotta go, girl. There you go. You did great, hon. You're fine. All right. Take care now. All right. Bye.